This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Good evening and welcome to the May 28th, 2024 meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners for Town of North Haven. My name is Larry Lazareff. I'm the chairman. To my left is Bob Hennon, vice chairman. To his left is Mark Calafiore, our secretary. To my right is Alden Mead, commissioner. And to his right is Robin Wilson, commissioner. I'd like to ask for the approval of the minutes of the April 30th, 2024 special meeting, both regular and executive sessions, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any correspondences?
No, none at all.
Okay. The chairman's report, I'll be brief. I wanted to acknowledge and thank the police department for marching in the Memorial Day Parade. We take pride in our patrolmen and uniform officers that take part in this parade, and we remember those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. So it's a good opportunity to show our respect for these people. As many of you know, most of you may know, the budget did fail. We're confident that the corrections will be made, and we will hopefully have a passing budget of the next referendum. Just make note, please, postal service are up, and we'd like to keep our 2 officers in addition to the new budget. A reminder that the summer hours are now approaching us. You'll see children and bicyclists and everybody else out on the streets, so please be aware. Be more cautious as you're driving, as you should always be anyway. And again, as I do every month, I ask you to please remember to lock your vehicles, your cars, your sheds, anything that might be available to anybody with an opportunity to take advantage of you. Please just lock everything. And again, I wanted to thank our PD from patrol right up the ladder, to the chief, to the deputy, for the outstanding work they're doing in the community. It's appreciated, it's noticed. I get people talking about it all the time. And so thank you guys for a job very well done. I know I speak on behalf of the entire commission for that. With that, I'll turn it over to the chief.
Thank you. As usual, I'll start with the budget report. At the end of the 10th month, at the end of April, we're at 82.2% expended. That's below our self-imposed thresholds. We're in good shape year to date up until just today. We're still under budget. We're tracking to come in under 100% expended. And it's been another rough year with overtime, as you all know. With the dispatch overtime, we've been dealing with trying to onboard more people. We've been spending a lot of money doing that. The special details, the crime prevention details overnight, as well as during the day, distracted driving, ATV and street takeover details. Some of that is grant funded. Some of that comes out of our overtime budget. So that's a big driver of pushing our overall budget up to that 100%. And again, as you know, our training line remains, you can see in your reports, tracking high again this year. We're committed to investing more than we have in the past as far as training all officers in a number of different topics. And you can see that in the reports, how many different things we're sending people to be trained in, as well as sending our officers to become trainers so they can train not only our department, but departments throughout the state. So it's not something we want to cut back on. And that's why we're happy we're staying under the overall budget, even though those certain few lines are tracking high and a little over budget. As the chairman stated, the budget was voted down recently at referendum. We made some adjustments. We cut $70,000 out of our capital budget and about $100,000, just under $100,000 out of our operational budget for a total of about $170,000. But the good news is, as of now, moving forward to the town meeting and hopefully for the referendum coming up, the second referendum, we still have the new 2 proposed officers in the budget. So obviously we appreciate the support from the commission, but anybody watching, if you value public safety, if you like to see this department grow in staffing to address the needs of the community, we ask that you support the next budget. We would appreciate that. And that referendum is June 11th, as you said, and the Board of Finance meeting is the next night, June 12th, I believe, to discuss that. And obviously won't know the outcome of the referendum until then, but the Board of Finance meeting is a very important step in the process. Under our traffic report, we had a significant motor vehicle accident on Valley Service Road. This is a stretch of road that goes from the 22 connector to the Amazon property that was opened to the public in just the past year. This is a road that we talked about signage and speed limits, and we've been working with the DOT to get approval. It's to alleviate a lot of the traffic from Route 5 once Amazon opened up. So it's good for the town, but because of this crash, it's the second fairly significant crash. We're going to do an overall survey to see if we could bring to the commission next month consideration for additional signage there and possibly some road markings. So look forward to that next month. Mr. Fridas has been working to acquire funding, which he has, and there's going to be lighting installed in the next few months there. So that will also help in regards to overall safety.
Is the issue speed or lighting, or yet to be determined?
A combination of both. We have an electronic speed sign down there grabbing some data. We've spent a lot of time down there running radar to enforce the speed. The last crash that was significant, speed was related, but there's some curvature in the roadway that signage and road markings can assist with, and it's a very dark road. There's no lighting at all. Under training and professional standards, please refer to your reports. Like I said, there's a significant amount of training going on. I'm not going to go through each and every one, but there's a lot of good information there. In regards to a personnel update, as of this week, all of our officers who are in field training are now off field training. They're working on their own. We have one officer still in the academy, scheduled to graduate in July. One officer still out on long-term injury. We hope that officer comes back soon, maybe 1 or 2 weeks from now. We'll talk about that more in executive session. And one officer on maternity leave, and congratulations to her for the birth of her child. So we're technically down 3 officers from our full staff. But even with being down 3 officers, this is the most staffing that North Haven has had in the 81-year history of the department. So we're in good shape. We see more officers on the road. And when we get into the numbers, especially the proactive numbers, motor vehicle stops and contacts, calls for service, you'll see how that has changed just in the last few months. So it's all positive. And obviously, if the budget passes on June 11th, we'll have the opportunity to hire 2 more officers, which will put us in a good position. On our Uniform Services Division, the April stats, as you see in the reports, show an increase in calls for service this year compared to the previous year. In April, there were 2,377 calls for service compared to 2,067. Year to date, we're also higher compared to last year. And again, last year was the highest year in the last at least 25 years. So year to date, at the end of April, 8,931 compared to 8,523. Written reports, April, again, this year compared to April last year, 221 compared to 199. Year to date, 977 compared to 900 even. Motor vehicle stops in April, 443 compared to 180. So it's a significant difference, excuse me. Year to date, we had over 1,000 car stops already compared to just over 600 car stops in the same time frame last year. So again, like I just said, more officers on the road, free up officers. If you have a smaller amount taking the same calls for service, they're going to be tied up on those calls for service, writing those reports, doing the administrative paperwork and reporting. They're not out there available to stop cars, interact with the public, do our deterrent runs in not only the residential neighborhoods but also the business districts. So the more officers, the more successful we're going to be. Under the Investigative Services Division report, again, there's a lot of information in the report that you've been provided. We're not going to go through each one of those, but in April we had 3 stolen cars. 2 were recovered and processed for forensic evidence. We had 5 commercial burglaries and 1 residential burglary. So they're staying busy, but we're going in the right direction. And again, we continue to make efforts with the grant funding, allowing us to put more detectives as well as uniformed personnel on the road in specific times that we identify when the crime is actually occurring. We also, I think, was well received in the parade with our bike units. They were out there, they looked good. It was a positive thing for the department, for the town to have them out there. Gave them an opportunity to interact with more people instead of just walking up and down the road. They were able to ride back and forth and talk to children and adults. So that was positive for us, and you'll see those bike units deployed, especially on the weekends, but during different times in the shopping districts moving forward.
There are 2 bikes or 3?
We have 4 bikes. We have 6 officers who are trained to ride. It's an actual certification. So 6 who are trained and available to do that. In the parade, there were 3 that were out there.
They've already been down at Universal.
They have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had some nice comments that people like, when do we get the bikes?
Yeah, seems like
So they're
people
actually
appreciate
glad
that.
to see them on the bike route for that.
Yeah, so they'll primarily be on Universal Drive as well as Washington Avenue in the shopping plazas. We have nothing for the Benary Scholarship, a request, and everything else I have is for executive session.
Any questions?
Any further business?
Get a motion that we go into executive session for discussion of personnel matters?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we are back now in open session after having discussed personnel in executive session. I'd like to bring forward a motion that we extend the contract for supernumerary for Stan Lofquist at the high school for another 2 years. Do we have a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Any further business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.